And good morning. Welcome into the Cam Rogers Show, presented by FanDuel. I am Cam Rogers. Hit me up on Twitter at Mr. Rogers99. It is June 13th, 2018, firmly in the LeBron James sweepstakes season. I've got you guys covered for the next hour. Here's the rundown with the program today. I have the latest LeBron James rumors, a lot of juiciness to get through there. 5 potential blockbuster NBA trades. Harris Rubenstein will be coming on the program to talk about those. At the 30-minute mark, I'll tell you why Tiger Woods will win the 2018 U.S. Open. At the 35-minute mark, I got my 5 teams. So these are my rankings in terms of potentially signing LeBron James in the summer of 2018. And then later in the show, we've got the World Cup schedule, of course, kickstarts tomorrow. Jordan Giorgio is standing by with the rundown regarding that. All right, folks, let's get into the latest LeBron James rumors here on the Cam Rogers Show, presented by FanDuel. And we'll start things off with LeBron perhaps despising the city of Houston. So an Akron Beacon Journal columnist claims to have heard it from LeBron's lips. Wow, that he hates the city of Houston. This apparently, if you want to fall in line with this and follow this rumor, lowers the chance that LeBron would go to the Houston Rockets, at least on the surface. I still personally think they have a good chance at signing him. One of the many developments that have fallen into place here, among the rumor that LeBron's son is perhaps committed to a school in the LA area, which feeds into the Los Angeles Lakers narrative. I'll talk about that rumor in a matter of moments, but I'm not really buying into this too much, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think you guys should either. I think the Houston Rockets make a lot of sense from a few perspectives, and I'll talk about more about it when I get in my rankings and all of that. But Chris Paul is there, part of the Banana Boat squad, if you will. LeBron and Paul are very good friends. Daryl Morey is a very aggressive general manager. He would love to land LeBron, which obviously would cement his legacy as a fantastic GM in the association. And then you have a great scorer, a pure scorer, in James Harden. So you have an unbelievable core there of LeBron, Harden, Chris Paul. I'll get into the financials in terms of what actually has to happen for the Rockets to roster those 3 guys. But just the potentiality of that, I think, is really tempting for LeBron and for the Houston Rockets leadership out there. The fact that he despises the city of Houston, first of all, what exactly does that mean? Does he just hate the traffic? Does he hate the weather? I mean, it's not 100 degrees all of the time. It's 100 degrees here in Dallas, Texas, and I'm doing okay. I'm enjoying what I'm doing, so it's like all relative. What exactly does despise, hate mean in the sense that you are not a fan of a particular city? It could be many different variables. Like I said, traffic, could be the weather, but I doubt it's the franchise itself, the Houston Rockets. So that's rumor number 1 here on the list. How about this? Could LeBron tell the Cavs of his free agency decision here today? So this, according to Basketball Society Online, according to them, LeBron could be letting the Cavs know his intentions this early, obviously, which would allow the office to be comfortable in trading away the 8th pick in the draft for an all-star if LeBron James decides to stay with the Cavs. If LeBron James decides to leave the Cavs, then obviously they wouldn't trade the number 8 overall pick in the NBA draft because, well, why would you do that? Because obviously you're in a rebuilding phase, and as Brian Windhorst has reported on ESPN, everybody's for sale if LeBron leaves the Cleveland Cavs. So keep that in mind. Now, LeBron James said that his decision, upcoming, going to be one of the more easier that he's had to deal with. Now, if you go back to 2010, and I'm going to flash the clip for you guys when the decision happened for him to go to South Beach and play for the Miami Heat, I want you guys to focus in on his demeanor as he is answering this question. He kind of hesitates a little. So it tells me how difficult it was for him back in 2010. But now I think it's going to be a little easier. So I'm not surprised that LeBron could be informing the Cavs of his free agency intentions by today. But first, let's flash back to 2010. Here is the decision.
The answer to the question everybody wants to know. LeBron, what's your decision?
In this fall, man, it's very tough. In this fall, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach and join the Miami Heat.
You know, he kind of like sat back for a second and was like, wow, this is tough. It's almost like he had an authentic moment. I don't think we're going to have one of those type of moments with LeBron James in 2018. I think his mind is made. Now, the deadline to opt into the contract with the Cavs, should he choose to do so, is June 29th. And you got the NBA draft on June 21st. So I think that LeBron is going to, for sure, have his decision made with the Cavs by the 21st. I think he has at least the respect for the Cavs organization to kind of allow them to decide what they want to do with that number 8 overall pick there for the draft. Like I said, if LeBron stays, maybe they trade away the pick. If LeBron leaves, obviously they will go forward with that selection there and begin the rebuilding process in the state of Ohio. So LeBron could be giving his free agency intentions today to the Cleveland Cavs. Where do you think he's going to go in free agency? Let me know in this reaction poll. Give me a like for the Lakers, laughing face for the Houston Rockets, a heart for the Philadelphia 76ers, and a wow face for the Boston Celtics. Keep it right here on the Cam Rogers Show, presented by FanDuel, because I will give you guys my rankings, my top 5 teams for LeBron James. And you know, guys, this is how I do it on the Cam Show. I give it to you straight. I give you supporting evidence with every opinion that I have. And I will be giving you plenty of supporting evidence as we get into that ranking segment. All right, next up on the list, could LeBron James' son be playing in the LA area? So former NBA player Gary Payton told USA Today that LeBron James Jr. is committed to attending Sierra Canyon High in Chatsworth in LA area. So could feed the LeBron to Lakers narrative here, but people have checked in on this. So Chris Palmer, an NBA reporter for Spectrum, was told by Sierra Canyon that no commitment has been made. Harris Rubenstein, one of our NBA analysts here, has said that this rumor is fake news. Am I wrong, Harris? Okay, so there you go. I mean, that said, I don't think it's far-fetched. This is a storied basketball program. It concluded its 2017-2018 season by claiming the CIF State Open Division title, and Kenyon Martin and Scottie Pippen's sons play there. So they got a brand name out there in Chatsworth. So something to keep in mind here as we go throughout LeBron James' free agency season. Now, LeBron has talked about the best achievement in his life, perhaps coming to fruition. Now, he has to wait a few years, but I'm talking about LeBron actually playing in an NBA game with LeBron James Jr. LeBron said that would be the number 1 in my lifetime as an NBA player in terms of achievements. So gotta be at least 7 years for this to actually happen for LeBron James Jr. to actually end up playing with LeBron Sr., if you will. And LeBron James Jr. will turn 14 in October. Of course, LeBron doesn't see himself stepping away from the game anytime soon. You're talking about a guy who could win an MVP honor at the age of 33. So would be an incredible feat, by the way. Would just blow up the headlines, probably blow up social media as well. So there you go. All right, folks, you're watching the Cam Rogers Show, and thanks to FanDuel for sponsoring the program. It's an awesome week to sign up on FanDuel, World Cup, U.S. Open, and hey, new players, play for real cash while you learn the ropes. No experienced players are allowed. Sign up today, FanDuel.com/chatsports, and receive free entries and a bonus on your first deposit for immediate play. Message us your username in the comments section on YouTube Live and Facebook Live, and we could feature them right here on the Cam Rogers Show, presented by FanDuel. And we thank them for coming along for the ride here. Let's continue on with the latest LeBron James rumors. So Kevin Durant recently spoke on the James sweepstakes. So Durant told Jimmy Kimmel that he doesn't think LeBron will play with the Warriors. So KD said, quote, "I just don't think it will happen, but I don't want to go there. So it's funny, he actually said, everybody will write about this if I actually say something. Well, of course they will, and I'm here talking about it. So just on the surface, going to the Warriors obviously would give LeBron James the best chance at winning an NBA title. Houston Rockets, I think, are 1B, but the Warriors would be 1A. And that's all good and great, but the Warriors are going to have to lose some of their core players on that team. So if you bring in LeBron James, you're going to have to do some maneuvering here with your roster. Draymond, Iguodala, both of them might have to be gone. Who knows about Klay Thompson, too. So something to keep in mind there. I don't think the Warriors, Steve Kerr, the leadership there, really want to throw a wrench into all of this and disrupt what they have right now, because what they have right now is a dynasty in the works, in progress. And so I don't really think it makes too much sense for LeBron to go to Golden State there. All right, how about this? LeBron's going to co-produce a documentary, an HBO film called Student Athlete. The film is about the exploitative world of high-revenue college sports. So the film will feature 4 current and former college athletes. Kentucky basketball player Nick Richards is one of them. Now, LeBron said back in February, quote, "The NCAA is corrupt. We know that. Sorry, it's going to make headlines, but it's corrupt." Hey, I personally am looking forward to watching this. I think this will be really, really interesting stuff, and I think it's good timing with the NCAA investigations in terms of college basketball and all this stuff. Michigan State was a part of an investigation as well. So a lot of fodder out there to kind of talk about in this documentary here. Do you think the NCAA is corrupt? Let me know in the comments section on YouTube Live as well as Facebook Live. All right, folks, one more LeBron James rumor to get through, and Dwayne Wade recently spoke on LeBron, saying that there are other factors that will influence his decision off the hardwood. So Wade said, quote, "I think at this point in his life, it's more so of a lifestyle thing. Basketball-wise, he's so great, he can bring along and take along whoever." So Wade also said that he has no inside information on LeBron. Come on, Dwayne, of course you do. Let's be real. And I get this argument, like, LeBron James, wherever he goes, will move the needle, and he could perhaps recruit players to whatever team he goes to. So maybe that's not top of mind for him. He's not too worried about that. He's more worried about the afterlife, if you will, after his basketball career, looking into the entertainment industry, perhaps doing more philanthropic type of things, right? So LA makes a lot of sense in that regard. A big market like Philadelphia makes a lot of sense in that regard as well. So I want you guys weighing in on this reaction poll here on the Cam Rogers Show presented by FanDuel. Where do you think LeBron will go in free agency? We've got the Lakers, we've got the Rockets, we've got the 76ers, and the Celtics as your options here. Like, laughing face, heart, and a wow face, respectively. Everybody has an opinion out there, and everybody will continue to have differing opinions in terms of where LeBron James could go in the summer of 2018. You probably have heard my prediction. If you haven't, I'll give it to you later in the show. Be sure to hit us up in this reaction poll here. LeBron James and his decision will not only change the landscape of the NBA, but I think it will change the landscape of sports in general, in sports fandom in general. Now, a lot of people out there are going to make the argument, yeah, if he goes to the Golden State Warriors, yeah, if he goes to the Houston Rockets, it's going to ruin basketball because the NBA is going to be the Western Conference, and the Eastern Conference is going to be an afterthought. I understand that argument, and I feel for you guys if you do feel that way, but it's LeBron James. Wherever he goes, I really don't care because he's still playing at a really high level, and if I can continue to see a guy like LeBron play the way he's playing, then, hey, I'm a lucky guy. All right, so there you go. You guys are watching the Cam Rogers Show presented by FanDuel. We've got Harris Rubenstein alongside. How we doing, sir?
I'm doing okay.
Welcome to the program. All right, buddy. So you've got your 5 blockbuster trades that could happen in the NBA this offseason.
Now, we were getting ripped on YouTube for saying that our trades were based off of nothing, which they weren't. That was complete fake news. But all of our trades that we have today are based completely off of active rumors going on right now.
So we have context for all these.
Yes, context is here, I promise.
Love it. So let's start things off with Anthony Davis. Why are we talking about him?
All right, we heard a rumor a couple days ago that the Golden State Warriors are still interested in making a move for Anthony Davis. Now, alongside of that, they also said that they understood that they would have to break up the core for Anthony Davis. Now, what does that mean? Well, they're going to give Kevin Durant a max contract this summer. We already know that. Joe Lacob has said it. Kevin Durant has said it. They already gave Steph Curry the supermax. So breaking up the core would most likely be trading one of Klay Thompson and or Draymond Green. So you could trade one of them or both. And then maybe you trade a first-round pick, or maybe you split Draymond Green into a couple other players. But there's a way for the Warriors to end up with Anthony Davis that actively keeps the roster kind of set. And I will also say this, with Draymond Green now planning on turning down an extension this summer because he's going to want the Supermax if he makes an All-NBA team or wins Defensive Player of the Year next year, there's a reasonable assumption that the Warriors could trade Draymond Green this year or next year.
Because they're looking ahead to next season.
Exactly. So Klay Thompson's going to get a max contract this summer, as is Kevin Durant. So already your max slots are filled up. You can only give out one supermax per team. Warriors already gave it to Steph Curry.
Right.
So now the real question is, what are they going to do with Draymond Green and Klay Thompson? I would be under the assumption that Draymond Green is going to end up getting traded.
Okay.
That's just me, though.
All right, so let's take a look at the Harris-Rubenstein trade machine here. And with
It's
Anthony
humming.
Davis going to the Warriors,
Yes.
here's the deal. So Klay goes to the Pelicans, Draymond goes to the Pelicans, and some draft picks as well.
Yes, I was going to make that a 2019 first-round pick, but the NBA is very, very iffy about having teams trade back-to-back first-round picks if they don't have another pick to supplement it. So I made a 2019 second-round pick plus the 2018 first, plus Klay and Draymond Green. This would obviously be for this summer and decently soon because they would have to trade the 2018 first-round pick, but I think what you get with this is that for the New Orleans Pelicans, they get two players that they can build around, plus that first-round pick. The Warriors make their team even more top-heavy than it already was, and bring in Anthony Davis. But what it allows them to do is give Anthony Davis a max contract while still having enough money to supplement the rest of the roster and have a legitimate bench. A lot of their players aren't actually due for extensions, at least on the bench end, for a while. Andre Iguodala is still going to be playing there for a couple of years. He is 2 years left on his deal. Jordan Bell has 3 years left on his rookie contract. They can bring in a lot of veterans as well. I actually think that this wouldn't be a terrible deal for either side. I mean, I know that the Warriors giving up both Klay and Draymond for one player is a little bit expensive, but people need to understand this is Anthony Davis. This is probably the third best player in basketball right now. He's not going to come cheap. And I think trading Klay and Draymond for him with all the cap issues the Warriors are going to have in 2 years, it is worth it.
That lineup looks a lot different, buddy.
It does, but I needed to also preface this. This is with Jordan Bell taking another step forward in terms of a year. This is having Patrick McCaw with another full offseason, and them also acquiring a couple shooters off the bench. Maybe they use a second-round draft pick on a shooter. Maybe they use that 2019 first-round pick on a shooter, or maybe they buy a first-round pick. I mean, they bought Jordan Bell last year from the Bulls. So it wouldn't be totally out of left field, but you still have Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, and Anthony Davis on one team. That's still a finals winning roster.
In terms of the Pelicans now, you got Draymond there, you got Klay there. How do you like that? Because DeMarcus is still there, too.
This is a really interesting roster. And I put DeMarcus Cousins on there just because I think that if they make a move, they obviously re-sign Cousins. But from a defensive standpoint, this is an fantastic roster. I mean, Drew Holiday is a great defender at the one. He was on the all-defensive team this year. Klay Thompson, one of the best perimeter defenders in basketball. Draymond Green is maybe the best defensive player in the entire sport right now. And then you have Etuan Moore, who can cover any wing. And DeMarcus Cousins, I think he's a little bit better of a defender than people give him credit for. He's just so huge. But that's a great lineup. I mean, if you're the Pelicans, that's a top 3 seed in the East with for sure.
So that's one trade option.
Yes.
Here's another trade option with Davis going to the Warriors. So it's Thompson, Iguodala, Bell, and then a couple more draft
This
picks.
would be the Warriors saying, we want to keep Draymond Green, and we think that he's the glue guy for this entire team. And it also allows...
Which I get.
It does. And it also would give you the best defensive front court in the entire NBA in Draymond Green and Anthony Davis. You still have Steph Curry, and you still have Kevin Durant. This would be a fantastic trade for the Golden State Warriors. I try to lead them both one way. But for the Pelicans, this is also a great move. You get Klay Thompson to put him at the 2. You get a young 4 in Jordan Bell, who you can develop next to DeMarcus Cousins. You get a good veteran to play wing in Andre Iguodala, and you get 2 first-round picks. This is a good trade if you're the Pelicans, despite the fact that you're still giving up Anthony Davis and not getting Draymond back. If anything, this might be a better trade for the Pelicans because it extends their window with those 2 first-round picks plus Jordan Bell.
I think it's a good trade on both sides.
I think it is. I think both the trades can actually fit on both ends. This one, personally, I think leans a little bit towards the Pelicans, but I think overall both of them are fantastic.
All right, so Anthony Davis could be on his way out. We shall see. How about Kevin Love, Harris? And I think we should probably preface this with, if LeBron leaves the Cavs, then Kevin Love could be on the trade block.
I'm going to make this very clear right now. I don't think it matters if LeBron leaves or if he stays. I think Kevin Love is gone. Okay. I think they're trading him this offseason. Look, he has $22 million on his deal or for every single year for the next 3 years, alongside having to pay J.R. Smith for the next year. Tristan Thompson has another 2 years left on his deal. George Hill has $20 million for the next 2 years. They cannot keep all of these old guys who don't perform well. And it also needs to be prefaced with this. If the Cavs want another star for Kevin Love, they have to attach a first-round pick to him. Have to. No questions asked. That Brooklyn pick has to be attached to Kevin Love if they want to get a legitimate NBA superstar. Look, Kevin Love's contract, you can make an argument it's one of the worst in the NBA right now. He's probably one concussion away from wondering if he has to stop playing basketball. Like, his health issues are that bad right now.
All right, so the trade machine for Kevin Love. So we're talking about the Blazers here and the Cavs. The Cavs get McCollum. I like that.
Yes, this is a good move for both sides in terms of filling needs that they currently have and also not doubling down in terms of their backcourt and front court. So the Portland Trail Blazers get Kevin Love. They finally get a big man down low that's actually worth something. And they also get a first-round pick, a top 10-1 overall, to fill a couple holes. Maybe they get a 2-guard. Maybe they try to get like a maybe they try to use that first-round pick with the first that they also have to try to trade up into the top 5. Maybe they target Luka Doncic. And for the Cavs, they get C.J. McCollum and give LeBron James something to come back towards in terms of a shooter. Their 4 and 5 range, their front court would be terrible, but maybe they try to sign someone or draft someone. But if you're the Blazers, you get Damian Lillard and Kevin Love as a great 1-4 combo. You bring back Yusuf Nurkic on a good deal.
Yep.
I don't think Evan Turner would end up starting at the 2. He's still probably going to be their bench guy, but maybe they use that number 7 overall pick on a 2 or a 3.
You know, the Blazers have been rumored to get LeBron. That ain't happening.
That's not going to happen.
So the consolation prize, I guess, would be for Kevin Love to go to the Blazers?
It would. And look, Kevin Love is still a good player. I don't think so, but the NBA thinks differently than I do about Kevin Love.
Stats don't lie.
But I think if you're the Cavs and you're looking to bring LeBron back, I don't think Kevin Love can be a part of that equation anymore. I think you have to move on from him. You have to get LeBron shooters. Kevin Love can do a lot of things. He can rebound, he can score, but you can find 75 to 80% of Kevin Love on the free agent market. What C.J. McCollum brings to this lineup, I think is just on another level than what Kevin Love does.
All right, so we got one more potential trade here with Love. So Love goes to the Blazers, of course, Osman as well. Then you got Zach Collins, Evan Turner, a couple of draft picks for the Cavs.
Yeah, this is called the Cavs are blowing it up. Now this would be the trade if LeBron leaves and they're still looking to trade Kevin Love. So the Cavs get a nice solid 5 in Zach Collins, young kid going into his second year in the NBA. They get Evan Turner's contract because they have to take that back in order for the money to work. And then they get 2 first-round picks from the Portland Trail Blazers, who now get to keep C.J. McCollum and Damian Lillard, and now add Kevin Love. And I think that combo of a 1, 2, and 3 gets you another top 3 seed in the playoffs and gets you at least, I think, to the Western Conference Finals if one of the Warriors or the Rockets falter in an early round. Maybe they can actually beat the Rockets with Kevin Love, Damian Lillard, and C.J. McCollum, along with a good coach and Terry Stotts. So this is the blow-it-up trade for the Cavs
I would say
if LeBron leaves.
All right, so potential trades there with Kevin Love. We'll get to Kemba Walker as well. But you guys are watching the Cam Rogers Show, presented by FanDuel. And soccer fans, the World Cup starts tomorrow. Every sporting event is, of course, more exciting with FanDuel. $135,000 in prizes. World Cup soccer from FanDuel. Harris, I can't wait for it. And folks, everybody in the comments section, come at me. FanDuel.com/chatsports. Hit me up in comments with your username. I will challenge you because apparently everybody's smarter than all of us.
I can't wait for the World Cup game. I've been waiting for this 4 months. I'm just sad that the U.S. isn't in it, so we don't get to see Christian Pulisic and the rest of the boys in the red, white, and blue. But look, I'm still playing with FanDuel. I know your users know their stuff. Use some real money to make some real money.
Yes.
I can't wait to see you guys out there. That World Soccer Pick'em is going to be awesome this year.
And I'll tell you what, if you're watching the Cam Rogers Show right now, you know how to make good decisions. So make another one. FanDuel.com/chatsports and deposit some money today. All right, so Harris, let's talk Kemba Walker here.
Yes.
What's the deal?
So I've heard that some people don't think that trading Kemba Walker would be a blockbuster trade. I need to preface this. If Kemba Walker goes to a playoff team in the Eastern Conference, that is a blockbuster trade because Kemba Walker would instantly change any offense that he goes to. He is one of the most underrated players in all of basketball. I'd actually argue he's one of the 10 best guards in the game right now, but people just don't see him because he plays for Charlotte.
Right.
It's like how people don't know how good Mike Trout is because he plays for the Los Angeles Angels and no one actually watches him. So
not fair.
It isn't. And Kemba Walker is a fantastic point guard. He's right in his prime at 28 years old, going on 29. He's also entering the final year of his contract, so that makes it a little bit more iffy in terms of what the Hornets are going to be able to bring back for him. But I think we got a couple nice packages here.
All right, so let's do it. Kemba Walker going to the New York Knicks, Harris. What do you make of this deal?
This is such a good trade for the Knicks in terms of getting rid of contracts that they don't want / ever should have been involved with in the first place. They get to drop Joakim Noah's contract, which is terrible, maybe the worst contract in basketball right now. They also rid themselves of Courtney Lee's deal. They do have to give up the number 9 overall pick and a 2020 first, but they get back Kemba Walker, and they also get back a really good 3 in Nick Batum. It moves Tim Hardaway to his more natural position as a 2 guard, and it also gives someone next to Kristaps Porzingis who can actually play some defense, and that's pretty important for the Knicks who, mind you, don't actually play defense. So you get Kemba Walker. So you get Kemba Walker, you bring him back to New York. He's from New York. Also, not to mention, the most famous moment in Kemba Walker's career came while he was in Madison Square Garden with the pull-up J in the Big East tournament way back. Obviously, he's 29 years old, so that happened plenty of years ago, almost a decade now. But Kemba Walker, along with along with Tim Hardaway Jr., is a great backcourt for the Knicks to build around. And for the Hornets, it's blow it up time. Sure. I mean, you get Malik Monk, you get to move him to the 2. Maybe you pick up a free agent in the draft to play point guard, Colin Sexton, a Lonnie Walker type, and you also get another pick there that you have of your own at number 11. So it allows the Hornets to start their rebuild. They get the first-round pick that they've been looking for Kemba Walker. Maybe they also move Dwight Howard in a separate deal. Blow it up for the Hornets. They've not been able to get it done in the draft the past couple of years.
All right, so how about this? The Phoenix Suns getting Kemba Walker, and what do you make of this deal?
So for the Hornets, this allows them to get rid of Marvin Williams' contract. They do have to get Jared Dudley, but that's fine. He's going to end up being an expiring contract. That'll be good for them to move for maybe a trade exception in a couple of years. They get Marquise Chris as well, a young power forward who maybe they can mold into whatever they've been trying to do with their power forwards for the past 5 years.
Right.
They also get a first-round pick this year and a first-round pick next year from the Suns, which they can do because they have multiple first-round picks over the next 3 years. The Suns get the point guard that they've been so desperately been looking for, and they get to keep the first overall pick. Now you got Kemba Walker, you got Devin Booker, you draft DeAndre Ayton, and now all of a sudden you have a legitimate possible playoff roster if you're the Suns. This is a good move for the Suns because, like I said, they get their point guard, but this is an even better move for the Hornets because they get another first-round pick, gives them 2 this year, they get another one next year, and they get a young guy at the 4. I like this a lot for both sides.
All right, so that's the rundown there with Kemba Walker. How about DeMar DeRozan of the Raptors, Harris?
Well, the real question is it time for the Raptors to blow up the roster?
Do you think so?
I think it is. I think, look, you got rid of Dwayne Casey. You have a ton of terrible contracts on this team. DeMar DeRozan has another 3 years of $23 million plus on his contract. They still have Kyle Lowry, who's 30 years old. He has 2 years left with another $70 million left on his deal. So I think it's time to blow it up for the Raptors. I know that they're a playoff team, and you're not going to find that every single day, but maybe they make one more run with this team. But I think DeMar DeRozan is the first guy that they have to move. His trade value is very, very strange because, look, he doesn't shoot threes, and we're in a three-ball era. He also is on a terrible contract at a position, frankly, at the two guard right now that is stacked. I think DeMar DeRozan is a great shooting guard, but the position in general is at an all-time high right now. There's so many good twos in the NBA that it's really tough to find a good deal for DeMar DeRozan.
And the Raptors are listening.
Yes,
so
they are,
we'll see.
Absolutely.
All right, how about the T-Wolves as
Boom.
the recipient of DeRozan?
I have just solved so many problems for both sides. I made it so that Andrew Wiggins can come back to Canada and be happy again. I made it so that Minnesota can get rid of the ridiculous extension that they just gave him. I can't believe that they just gave him a max contract of over $100 million. It also allows the Raptors to move on from DeMar DeRozan. It gives the Timberwolves a more natural fit at the two-guard position that isn't Andrew Wiggins and Jimmy Butler trying to play the same position at the same time, and also the Raptors get a little bit younger on the wing. This lineup is so much better without Andrew Wiggins and with DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah.
You still have Jeff Teague as a prime distributor. You now have DeMar DeRozan who can give you something from the mid-range. You have Jimmy Butler who's just the bulldog that he is, and you get Karl Anthony Towns down low. I don't know how how Taj Gibson is still alive and playing at the 4, but they're going to fit him in. And then look, it allows Andrew Wiggins and OG Anunoby to kind of counteract each other's strengths and weaknesses, saying as Andrew Wiggins is terrible at defense and OG Anunoby can't score at all. So look, it gives them a little bit more youth on the wing, and it also allows them to move on from DeMar DeRozan and keep Wiggins in Canada, which he always should have ended up at the first place. He misses Canada. He's made that very clear.
All right, let's go to the next potential trade here, Harris, involving the Dallas Mavericks and DeRozan.
Now, this is a trade that we heard about earlier in the offseason that I wanted to bring back up because I actually like it a lot for the Dallas Mavericks the more that I think about it. Now, I know that they have to give up a top 5 pick, but they also get rid of Wesley Matthews' contract, which is absolutely terrible, mind you. And we also know that Mark Cuban wants to win next year. He wants to win next year. He's already said that, and he's made that very clear. You can win with a lineup of Dennis Smith Jr., DeMar DeRozan, and Harrison Barnes and Dirk Nowitzki. You can win with that lineup. Maybe you don't win a lot of games, but that's a potential for our 7th or 8th seed if DeMar DeRozan has a really good season and Dennis Smith Jr. takes that projected step forward. So I know that the Raptors, have to give up DeMar and the Mavericks have to give up that number 5 pick, but this is a good way to rebuild for both sides.
All right, Harris. Finally, let's zone in on the number 1 overall pick. Whomever it is, Ayton, Doncic, whatever the case, you think Phoenix could trade it away?
I do, because I think that the more and more we look at DeAndre Ayton, the less and less likely he's going to be as a superstar. And I know that we like to pick these kids apart, and I've always been against that. But I think at this point with the Suns, you have to legitimately question DeAndre Ayton and his defense. I mean, he's coming into the NBA with one of the worst block and steals percentages of any potential number 1 pick of the past decade, especially for a big man. His defensive prowess is dangerous at this point. I mean, we don't know what his defensive abilities are going to be like in the NBA. So if the Suns don't think it's good enough, maybe they move out of the number 1 pick.
And maybe it involves the Atlanta Hawks. Let's take a look at this trade here.
This should happen. This should happen.
They get Schroeder, huh?
Great move for both sides. The Hawks get the number 1 pick. They can choose between Doncic or Ayton or Bagley, whoever they want at number 1 overall. This is very similar to what the Celtics did last year by getting the number 3 pick from the 76ers and getting the first next year. Instead of getting the first next year, I gave them number 3 and number 19 overall, plus they get their point guard in Dennis Schroeder to put next to Devin Booker. This is super fun because it gives the Suns that number 3 pick. They can still end up with Jaren Jackson or Marvin Bagley Jr. And get the big men that they've been looking for, plus a point guard, and the Hawks get that superstar to build around. I actually think this should happen.
Deal for the Suns.
I want this to happen. I think this is a great move for Ryan McDonough and the Suns.
All right, how about the Cavs being involved in all of this? And
yes.
Maybe the Cavs do this if LeBron leaves.
Yes, so they get the number 1 overall pick plus Jared Dudley's contract. The Suns get Kevin Love, which we know that they're interested. They've tried to make a move for Kevin Love in the past. They get the big men that they've been looking for. They still get the number 7 overall pick, which, mind you, maybe the Suns draft a Trae Young. Maybe they draft a Colin Sexton. Maybe a Lonnie Walker. So, boom, they get a point guard. They already have Devin Booker. And they get the big men down low that they've been looking for. They get to keep Tyson Chandler. And they get rid of Jared Dudley's contract. I think the Suns should end up trading the number 1 overall pick. I think the package they can get this year is out of this world. That Hawks trade that they could do, 2 first-round picks plus a good young point guard, I think it's just in the Suns' better interest to make the deal at this point.
All right, so you're throwing up your heart in this reaction poll
Absolutely.
here, Harris. Should the Phoenix Suns trade the #1 overall pick in the 2018 NBA draft? Be sure to let us know in this reaction poll. Give us a heart for do it, get it done. Give us a laughing face for don't do it. Harris Rubenstein coming along on the Cam Rogers Show, presented by FanDuel. And you're watching the Cam Rogers Show, presented by FanDuel. All right, folks, it's the U.S. Open this week at Shinnecock Hills, and Tiger Woods is in the field, the three-time U.S. Open champion. Folks, it's been 10 years since his last major championship, and Tiger Woods is actually coming off a really good ball striking week at the Memorial, but his putter was really bad. So he spoke with the media yesterday. Here's Tiger talking about his putter improving.
What I did at Memorial, I didn't feel comfortable over it. I couldn't see my lines, and those greens were quick, and I just didn't feel comfortable and didn't hit many good putts. I hit a lot of bad ones. This is a different week, different setup, different grass. This is what I basically grew up on out there on the West Coast. POA and gets bumpy, and it requires a lot of patience. A lot of times you can hit great putts on POA and just doesn't go in. And the key is to just hit putts solid and see what happens.
Okay, so I talked about it. Tiger's T2 green game is fantastic. I'm giving you guys my 5 reasons why Eldrick Tiger Woods will win the United States Open this week. Here's the rundown. He's 3rd in strokes gained approach at Shinnecock Hills. Your irons better be on point. He ranks 3rd in strokes gained around the green. So even if Tiger Woods does miss a green here and there, his short game can save him. Phil Mickelson has 6 runner-up finishes at the U.S. Open, mostly because of his fantastic short game. Tiger Woods can kind of channel that inner Phil Mickelson there. All right, so rank #1, strokes gained approach. Rank #2, strokes gained around the green. He also has some pretty good momentum as well, coming off back-to-back top 25 finishes. Also had a really good Florida swing as well, the Valspar Championship, the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Tiger Woods has played well at these short, windy type of layouts there. So I've got some good reasons in terms of why Tiger Woods can contend this week at the U.S. Open. And I talked about how FanDuel is coming along for the ride on the Cam Rogers Show, and we thank them for sponsoring the program. I am playing this week for the U.S. Open, of course. The Golden Eagle contest is only $9 to enter and has $500,000 in total prizes, with $100,000 to first place. Super easy to play. Pick 6 golfers, and you could take home that $100,000 first place prize. FanDuel.com/chatsports is the way to go. All right, so continuing along here with my reasoning in terms of Tiger and his chances this week. So I mentioned the back-to-back top 25 finishes. He's trending in the right direction. He's also a 3-time U.S. Open champion. He knows how to win at these iconic courses: Pebble Beach, Bethpage Black, Torrey Pines. And then my final reason, his putter's going to improve, guys. Putting is so volatile from week to week that you can be really bad in one tournament, and then the next event, you figure it out, and your putter is all of a sudden red hot. I can see that from Tiger Woods this week playing on POA grass, which he knows very well, as you heard from that soundbite from playing out there in California. So Tiger Woods will win his first major championship in a decade at Shinnecock Hills. And there you go. And folks, I am playing my own U.S. Open game on FanDuel. Send me your FanDuel username to join my U.S. Open challenge. Hit me up on Twitter at Mr. Rogers99. My lineup is already in, folks, so come at me. Be sure to hit me up on social media. I've got you covered. I'll make sure you're involved in the game. And by the way, it's FanDuel.com/chatsports. That's how you create your account. And from one iconic player to another, Tiger Woods to LeBron James. Let's talk LeBron. It's time. I'm giving you guys my 5 teams that could sign LeBron James this summer. So the rundown here is, could perhaps LeBron tell the Cavs his decision to stay or leave today? He has until the end of June to opt into his contract with the Cleveland Cavs. If he decides to opt out, then the Cavs probably will look ahead to the rebuilding project that is. So with that, let's get into my top 5 teams. Checking in at number 5, we've got the Boston Celtics, and they have plus 1,000 odds. Those are the latest Vegas odds. And Chris Haynes, who is a good insider, said, quote, "Let's not overlook the Boston Celtics." Stephen A. Smith said the Celtics may look into LeBron and that LeBron will have a conversation with Celtics leadership this summer. Now, let's just first of all talk about this from a standpoint of personnel. This would be pretty stunning. Going from a rival in the Boston Celtics, where LeBron James has battled this team so many times over the years, including this past postseason, to actually playing for that rival. Plus, there's the whole Kyrie Irving thing, who chose to leave the franchise that drafted him rather than be LeBron James' teammate. And I'm not so sure that LeBron James and Kyrie Irving are on exactly good terms at this juncture. So LeBron James has a Celtics jersey on right now, and he's like, what the heck is going on? Because I think it's a bit of a long shot, and once we jump into the top 4, I think those are the 4 realistic ones, but I think 5 is a better number, so I did toss in the Boston Celtics here. And the argument can be made from a financial perspective. So the Celtics would need to let Marcus Smart walk in free agency, trade Marcus Morris for some draft picks, and trade either Horford or Hayward. But I keep going back to this Kyrie Irving thing because I think it's really worth monitoring here if you are actually thinking that the Boston Celtics are going to sign this guy. Brian Silva in the comment section here on the Cam Rogers Show presented by FanDuel says, Kyrie's in Boston, try again. Hey, I'm with you. I get it. But you tell me a better team to put in here at number 5. All right, so as we go throughout these rankings, they'll get more and more likely. Kyrie Irving in town, hey, maybe LeBron and Kyrie are texting right now, they're getting along, all is good. But you have to go off the premise that they're probably not the best of friends right now. But I have the Celtics here because from a financial perspective, it does make some sense. And, you know, relationships can repair, folks. You know what I mean? Have you ever gotten in a fight with your friend and you don't talk to each other for 2 weeks and eventually you get back together, you're friends again, or you break up with your girlfriend or boyfriend and there's this lull period for a month and you get back together? It happens. We're human. We fight. We get mad at each other. Maybe this is the case with LeBron and Kyrie and they can make up a little bit. All right? That's just one of my theories out there. All right, let's go to number 4 here on the list. I think this would be a really interesting team. So we've got the Houston Rockets. So GM Daryl Morey, mentioned him earlier in the show. He's known for his aggressiveness in improving a roster, and landing LeBron James, I think, would be an all-timer kind of move. So in this scenario, you'd have the best player in the NBA right now in LeBron James, and one of the purest scorers in the league in James Harden. Now, if LeBron comes to Houston, it'll be because of Chris Paul, part of the banana boat squad, if you will, and you'd have this nucleus of Paul, Harden, and LeBron James. That nucleus is warrior-proof. They can take down the Golden State Warriors with that trio. Now, that scenario of Harden, Paul, and James would be difficult but not impossible. So first, what has to happen if CP3 isn't there, which I think, by the way, is pretty unlikely. I don't see why LeBron would want to go to Houston if CP3 decides to not remain with the Rockets there. But the Rockets would have to renounce the rights for Trevor Ariza, Eric Gordon, Tariq Black, among others, and trade away a player. So that would free up $35.8 million in cap space, enough to sign LeBron James to a maximum deal. And by the way, there's no way they're re-signing Clint Capella in this scenario either. So that is what has to happen for LeBron James to join the Rockets if CP3 is not there, which again, I just don't see happening. So here is the scenario for Chris Paul, LeBron, James Harden. Rockets have to renounce the rights of all of their impending free agents. Trade Eric Gordon, trade Ryan Anderson, and trade PJ Tucker for next to nothing in terms of salary. All right, so you got to think draft picks. So there's also the trade scenario, right? LeBron James opts in with the Cleveland Cavs and facilitates a trade with the Cavs and the Houston Rockets. LeBron goes to Houston, joins Chris Paul, James Harden. All is great and merry. Now, perhaps LeBron could channel his inner Chris Paul, if you will, and try to do that because Chris Paul did that with the Clippers, of course, going on over to the Houston Rockets. And from a financial perspective, probably makes more sense for the Rockets to do that, right? And hope that LeBron opts in and facilitates a trade. It just makes it easier on the salary cap. But if LeBron just straight up goes to free agency, the Houston Rockets have to do a few things to bring him in, and I just mentioned them. Renounce the rights of all the impending free agents, trade Eric Gordon, trade Ryan Anderson, and trade PJ Tucker for next to nothing in terms of salary. That's a lot of factors, but still, this is LeBron James, and this is GM Daryl Morey, who you cannot underestimate there, so keep that in mind. We got the Houston Rockets checking in at number 4. And the LeBron James sweepstakes are exciting already, and the World Cup is also shaping up to be exciting. Make it even more exciting by playing on FanDuel. FanDuel.com/chatsports. Put your username in the comments section, and we will feature you on the Cam Rogers Show right here on air. So go ahead, FanDuel.com/chatsports. Make a username, submit it in the comments section, and I'll be giving you guys a shout out, so be sure to do that. And we thank FanDuel for sponsoring the show. All right, let's get to number 3 here on the list. This would be fun. The San Antonio Spurs, Vegas odds of plus 1,000. So Greg Popovich may reportedly meet with LeBron this summer to sell him on the merits of South Texas. You got to love it. Sales pitches. So overall, this hasn't really been a highly talked about team in terms of LeBron. Not a lot of media buzz out there, but this is me, the media, creating the buzz because I think it's more likely than what the Vegas odds are trying to lead you guys on. LeBron has talked about his love of Popovich publicly before. And just imagine that player-coach pairing. Probably one of the best in NBA history. Probably the best in the NBA next year if it were to go down. So I'm just thinking about the basketball IQ, by the way, between those two, Greg Popovich and LeBron James. And I think that's something that LeBron has been longing for that we don't usually talk about. Basketball IQ. Look at that Cavs team from a year ago. Was that an intelligent team in terms of reacting and observing what is happening on the hardwood and essentially adjusting, calling an audible on the fly? LeBron James was the guy that called those audibles, but he couldn't call them for everybody. J.R. Smith. So, I mean, if LeBron goes to the Spurs, you have an intelligent basketball team, you have an intelligent coach, and oh, by the way, Kawhi Leonard is there as well, and there are reports out there that Kawhi could be meeting with Greg Popovich pretty darn soon. And I bet you LeBron James is going to be a part of that discussion. I'm telling you right now. So, real quick, for financials here, the Spurs are projected to carry over $98 million in salaries into next season. So, here's what has to go down. You following? They'd have to renounce Tony Parker's rights to clear $23.2 million off the books. That's step one. They'd also have to not extend the qualifying offer for Kyle Anderson. Then basically hope both Danny Green and Rudy Gay opt out of their final year of their deals, which is something that both of them are considering. Then at that point, the Spurs have $81.5 million on the books for next season, still needing to clear another $15 million to have room for James. So to get there, they could trade Pau Gasol and the $22.7 million in guaranteed money over the next 2 years and make sure they get zero salary in return. It's a lot, but I think it's more possible than you guys think. Now, LeBron James apparently hates Houston. Why not go to San Antonio? They're at number 3 on my list. Let's go to number 2, and we've got the Philadelphia 76ers. So this has been a team that seems like everybody is talking about. Obviously, a squad on the rise, jumping from 28 to 52 wins from the cellar of the East to the conference's number 3 seed. Set to be the team, by the way, with the second most cap space this summer. So a max contract shouldn't be an issue here in regards to LeBron. Now, the 76ers would have to renounce all of its impending free agents, including J.J. Redick, and they'd have to trade Jared Bayless and the $8.6 million they owe him. And the 76ers have the draft capital, by the way, to kind of sweeten that Bayless deal if they so choose. Or the team could trade Robert Covington in exchange for zero salary. He's coming off a really fantastic year, so supply and demand could be high for Covington. Regardless, it'd be LeBron James, Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, Saric as its core. Ben Simmons is the guy that's going to be on the ball, right? And you hear the rumors out there that LeBron James is okay with playing off the ball, which feeds into the Philadelphia 76ers narrative. So if LeBron goes to the 76ers, that team's going to be yearly contenders. And oh, by the way, he can avoid the Western Conference at least until the NBA Finals, if you want to talk about from a postseason perspective. Now, it's also worth noting that LeBron's agent, Rich Paul, also represents Ben Simmons. So you better believe there's some sort of group chat going on or something like that. So Robert chiming in on the Cam Rogers Show presented by FanDuel. LeBron James, Chris Paul, and Anthony Davis to L.A. You know what, Robert? We love segues here in this program, so we thank you for chiming in. Let's go to L.A., number 1 on my list, and I think it's going to happen. LeBron James is going to the Los Angeles Lakers. It's just going to happen. So I don't want you guys to go off on your day later today and hear anybody say anything else. Don't believe him. He's going to the Lakers. Vegas odds, by the way, minus 110. So the Lakers have the room to sign James to a 3-year, $111.4 million max contract, one with a player option for year 3. And you've got Paul George, who's been tied to the team as well. So let's talk about from the scenario that the Lakers can have George and LeBron. You waive Tyler Ennis, Zubac, Thomas Bryant. Renounce the rights to Julius Randle, promising big man, but still, we're talking LeBron here. At that point, LA would have $66.4 million in cap space, enough for James and George on the max contracts. James would make more on his max compared to Paul George. Kind of how it goes with their respective maxes that they have. George would be owed $30.3, LeBron $35.4. So you got Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Paul George, LeBron James, Kyle Kuzma, Josh Hart as well. That is a juicy, title contending lineup. Maybe not immediately. Maybe it'll take some time at the beginning of the season. But watch out for the LA Lakers and LeBron James. And also, you got to talk about LA in of itself. The business connections that LeBron James has. The 2 houses that he has out there as well. It makes so much sense. LeBron needs to look to the afterlife, to his entertainment sphere of his life, right? Where probably he will be more in entertainment once he retires. Being in LA makes a lot of sense to me. So will LeBron James join the Lakers? Be sure to let me know in the comments section. I know a lot of you guys are chiming in about the Lakers. Be sure to let me know what you think. All right, folks, the World Cup gets going this week. Jordan Giorgio is standing by with everything you need to know as you get your FanDuel games started this week. Jordan, take it away.
Thanks, Cam. It's time for your Quick Hitters World Cup preview presented by FanDuel. We're going to be taking a look at each of the first week's slate of games, starting with Group A. The host team in Russia will be taking on Saudi Arabia Thursday to kick off the 2018 World Cup at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Egypt will take on the favorites in this group, Uruguay, Friday at 8 a.m. This will be the key matchup to watch because if Egypt wants any chance at advancing to the knockout stage, they will need their star striker in Mohamed Salah to play well. However, he is still doubtful to play since he suffered a recent shoulder injury. Salah broke the modern single-season goal-scoring record in England's Premier League, scoring 32 goals in 38 games, passing the record held by Cristiano Ronaldo and Uruguay's Luis Suarez. Morocco and Iran will kick things off for Group B on Friday, followed by the game you do not want to miss, the first week between Portugal and Spain. Spain is determined not to face the humiliation of a second straight exit at the World Cup group stage, and the play of David Silva and Andres Iniesta will be a huge factor in that. For Portugal, their chance at the top spot will be relied heavily on number 7, Cristiano Ronaldo. All right, soccer fans, FanDuel has you covered through the entire tournament. I've already filled up one tournament, so I'm going to go ahead and start another. Go ahead and send me your FanDuel username, and I'll invite you to play in my World Cup Challenge. It's very easy to sign up. If you haven't already, go to FanDuel.com/chatsports and make sure to send me your username when you do. Let's now take a look at Group C, and it'll begin on Saturday with the favorites in France versus Australia, followed by Peru and Denmark battling it out. France should be able to cruise to the top, so the crucial match to watch is Peru taking on Denmark. The winner of this will go on to beat Australia and come in second. Denmark will have a big challenge ahead of them on Saturday since Peru's captain Paulo Guerrero is back and ready to go after his doping ban was temporarily lifted until after the tournament finishes. In Group D, we have Lionel Messi and Argentina versus Iceland set to kick off on Saturday, 9 a.m. Then Croatia and Nigeria will face off at 3 p.m. We'll stick with Argentina and Iceland here. This is likely to be Messi's final World Cup, and the pressure is on for him to deliver in Russia. This will be the first ever matchup between Argentina and Iceland, and with Argentina being at the top of their group in each of the last 3 World Cups, they are not about to let Iceland get in the way of their 4th straight trip to the knockout stage. In Group B, we have Costa Rica versus Serbia on Sunday, 8 a.m., and the favorites in Brazil will take on Switzerland. Switzerland will have a huge task in taking on Brazil, who is the team to beat across the entire tournament. As Brazil looks to chase their 6th World Cup title, the Swiss will have an upset on their mind. Game is set to kick off on Saturday, 2 p.m. Taking a look at Group F now, Germany and Mexico start things off on Sunday, and then Sweden and South Korea face each other on Monday. The reigning world champions in Germany will have to fight for a win against Mexico because they are absolutely stacked with talent at each position. Although Mexico has only beaten Germany once in their 11 meetings, they met last year in the Confederations Cup, and Germany earned a 4-1 victory. So Mexico will surely be seeking their revenge, but I want to know from you guys, do you think that Mexico will be able to upset Germany? Go ahead and get those reactions in. Give me a heart for yes or a like for no. Let's now take a look at Group G, where we have Belgium and Panama opening play on Monday at 11 a.m., followed by Tunisia versus England. After beating out the United States, Panama joins Iceland as the tournament's first-time participants, and they're not going down without a fight. They will have a lot to prove, though, as they will be up against Belgium, who is the number 3 team in the World Cup, behind only Germany and Brazil in FIFA's world rankings. And lastly, in Group H, Colombia and Japan will open play on Tuesday, followed by my key matchup of the day, Poland versus Senegal at 11 a.m. Both sides have some big-time players. Poland will be reliant heavily on their scoring machine in Robert Lewandowski, and Senegal will need to find a way to stop him, while they're hoping striker Sadio Mane, who is their highest-scoring Senegal player in English Premier League history, can carry them far in the World Cup. Remember to go ahead and send me your FanDuel username. FanDuel has both paid and free contests throughout the entire World Cup, so let's play the game. Back to you, Cam.
All right, Jordan, appreciate that. We'll check in with you on Friday as well. And some breaking news. The USA, Mexico, and Canada will co-host the 2026 World Cup. 60 of the tournament's games will be in the U.S., with Canada and Mexico getting 10 each. So gotta love that. That came through the wires this morning. And thanks to FanDuel for sponsoring today's show. Remember to send me your FanDuel username, and I'll send you an invite to play in my U.S. Open Challenge right here on FanDuel. If you haven't signed up yet, do it now. FanDuel.com/chatsports and receive free entries and a bonus on your first deposit for immediate play. If you're watching the show right now, you obviously know how to make great decisions. So FanDuel.com/chatsports is an even better decision. So get it done, ladies and gentlemen. And we thank them for sponsoring the Cam Rogers Show here today. So much more LeBron James talk coming at you on Friday morning, 10 o'clock Eastern Time. I'll see you then.